What's going on, everybody? Here we are, gathered for another episode of Pot Scum. This right here is the podcast where we dive in to the deepest, darkest, murkiest waters with a plethora of legendary guests. I am, of course, your host, the bastard of ceremonies, the numero uno scumbag, Rex Ruger. That's Rex with 3 X's. Don't get that twisted. You might also know me as a.k.a. the King of Sleaze, a.k.a. the Hair Metal High Priest, and most importantly, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. That's right, you're looking at him, the son of glam, the front man for the band. Just smoked several grams, got a million fans. I'm your ice cream man, Mr. Wop Bop Loo Bop Wop Bam Bam Shazam. Hot damn. Feeling good? Most importantly, everybody in the house looking good? Oh, yeah. That is all, of course, made possible by right there, kids. Get you some, and you too can look this good. Hard to believe, but you can. Well, maybe almost this good. Coming to you, as always, from the lush lavender lounge of love. Joined, as always, by my good pal, Keith Hernandez Puppet, who, when he talks, I hear him. If that makes any sense. This is, of course, the No Frills podcast. No frills. Why? Get plenty of thrills. What are those thrills, Rex? You might ask. Boom. Take a look. Matter of fact, let me take a look. Yup, that's your thrills. Right there. Plus, I don't know how to give you any frills because I'm, for the most part, pretty computer illiterate. That's why you see behind the curtains and see me inviting my guests in here with a wanton, reckless ability when it comes to technology, just, half-assing it. I don't know how to put together no little glitzy shit for you, no theme song, no animation, no cute little stuff bouncing across your screen. Nope. What you see is what you get. What you see is this beautiful face coming on and giving you my little spiel, and then what you get is kick-ass interviews. And, of course, today is going to be no different. We're about to chop it up here with another good one. Just invited him in here. So, see if we can get him in here. Yeah, we're going to do it. So, as always, let me remind you about my passion project, Love Sword. Still looking for virtuoso level players. So if you want to be part of a band with the second greatest frontman to ever do it, hit me up. Serious inquiries only. Now let's get down to business here and chop it up on Pot Scum. What do you say? We got ourselves a good guest. Let's do it. ALMYR Jules, where is he, man? In the house?
Right here. I'm in the house. How's it going?
He's in the fucking house, man. I'm telling you what, man. Man, I'm so glad, man, because I think I might have fucked up your name, man, if I didn't ask you earlier in the day how to pronounce it, man. Because I was thinking it might just be a cool way to spell Elmer.
Yeah, I know everybody does. Everybody thinks that's the way. It's not. It literally is my name, ALMYR.
And I'll tell you what, man, I'm glad it is, man, because Elmer ain't a real good look. That ain't a real cool name. I mean, how many people are named Elmer? Elmer Fudd in the fucking
Elmer
Lou.
Fudd. I know. It's horrible. ALMYR is the cool way. It's the cool way.
It definitely is the cool way, man. Yeah. Listen, man, for my audience out there that doesn't know what the hell ALMYR Jules does and why the hell he's on here, singer, songwriter, and a fucking good Canadian too, right?
Thank you, man. Yeah,
trying to be a good Canadian anyway.
Trying.
I don't know. Is there any such thing as a bad Canadian? Y'all seem so happy and content up there. You got your free fucking health care. Everything's clean up there.
No, it's everyone here is nice. It's just because like we could be good until the cold comes. That's literally. And then that's when you start seeing the fury.
Well, I'm down here in upstate New York, man. So yeah, it's fucking fair. I think it kind of compares to winters in Canada. Brutally cold, crappy weather, man. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I've heard of the New York weathers for winter. I was just like, I still haven't been to New York. I gotta go to New York. I still gotta go to New York. Yeah.
You do. You got to come down here and play some shows, man.
Yeah,
I'll put you, hey, listen, ALMYR, I'll put you up in the guest bedroom, brother. No problem.
Let's go. I'm down.
Let's do it, man. Yeah, but no. All kidding aside, though, man, is that is that the plan when you're a young musician nowadays? Now, you just put out an EP that I think is absolutely tremendous called Levels.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and what is the direction nowadays that a guy in your position, how do you navigate through the music business? Like, what's the move after you put a piece of art like that out? You go on tour? Do you go right back in the studio? Where's a young guy like you to go?
Well, in this situation right now, because I know in the old, like back in the day, it was like you put out tracks, and then the way that you promote it really is touring. Right, with Spotify, with everything else like that. You don't need to tour to promote the music anymore. So right now it's kind of like in my plan, it's we wanted to release a series of projects until I got to the album before we even thought of touring. I wanted to get the name and the sound and the songs like out in the world, out there before we even got to the point of touring, because I don't want to tour unless it's a successful tour. Right. Kind of idea, right? Right. And so right now, like for example, Levels was basically the mini album, the small EP that we put out to get like the songs. This has been like years in the making kind of idea. And now this year, we're planning on releasing new singles in March, April, and May, and then a full album in June. Nice. And then in the summertime, it's focused on getting these festivals. We're going to be playing a lot of festivals this summer. Yeah. Which will be fun. And then touring is like the next stage. Right. Because that point on, we would have pushed everything to the full max. Now it's like, let's go tour. Let's go do some. So yeah. And then you got some catalog out there too. You got some material too. Exactly. Well, so for people who might be watching that don't know, and I don't know if this is a fair assumption or not, because I'm not familiar with a lot of the artists on this list outside of Bruno Mars. Although I do love Leon Bridges, though. The comparisons, the ones that I've read online: Leon Bridges, Bruno Mars, Charlie Puth, Shawn Mendes. I only know I only know who the fuck two of those four guys are. But are those accurate though? You like those accurate? I love them. I love them all. Those are like artists on my top 10 artists. It's just they're all amazing. Like every one of them. Like Bruno Mars is like the top one. He's been inspired by music since he started, and I've loved it. But like Alec Benjamin, Shawn Mendes, Leon Bridges, like all of those people are great songwriters, great musicians, and I look up to them fully when it comes to music. So I'll tell you what though, man. I'll tell you what though. I had a lot of people have this discussion with me, knowing how big of a and I might be a hard rock / heavy metal guy, at heart, but my favorite artist of all time, and I've been pretty candid about this on here, has always been Prince. Yeah. And he's the Mecca for me. He's the Mecca for he's the guy back in my neighborhood that you could be a metalhead, but he could still be on your top list, and you didn't have to catch no shit from your friends about liking him, because he just was like he was above everybody else as far as cool. But the whole Bruno Mars was going to take the reins from him, man. I don't think he's active enough though, man. Prince was prolific. He's not putting out shit like all the time. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and I was like, you got to understand that Bruno Mars is as big as he is, and he only has 3 albums in his own project. That's crazy. It. Like that's it. Prince, yeah, it's right. Prince, Michael Jackson, like everybody released like album after album after single after like they had a lot of catalog. But like the reason why I like Bruno Mars is just because like even with the little things that he does beautiful things with it. He does. And like so for me it's just like that's why like I agree with you. Prince is amazing. And Bruno Mars definitely is influenced by Prince, a lot of what he does. No question. And so without doubt. And so I enjoy seeing like someone who loves him so much that tries to replicate him, but doesn't have to like put out every 5 minutes. Right. So it makes Bruno Mars to me kind of more special. Yeah. Because he's not constantly dropping. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So when he does drop, it's gems. Yeah. And it's I love it. I love it. So your upbringing, man, was it always going to be music, or did you ever have any aspirations of doing anything else? When I was growing up, I was more into the construction side of things. I remember going to high school. I got to do a program in high school where I was able to go and work with carpenters. And then that kind of pulled me into like the construction field. So I've always loved building things and using my hands and doing stuff. Music was more so when I first started playing music was just to impress women and to impress girls. I literally learned guitar. That's the only reason why I learned guitar. The only reason why I learned guitar was to impress a girl. Like literally was the only reason why. Yeah. But then like as time went on, I moved out to Ontario because my family lives in Alberta, and I moved out to Ontario, and then I started like playing open mic nights, started playing in front of people, started actually writing lyrics. That's when like music started becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Because I've always loved it. I've always loved music. I've loved lyrics. I've loved everything. And now it's just like it's transitioned to like I want this to be my life, my career. I want to tour. I want to live music, breathe music, do everything music, and that's like been the aspiration since.
Yeah. You remember what the first music was, man, that really got it? I hate to ask the influence question, man, but you know, you remember the first, I'll forward it a different way. Do you remember the first music that was really that felt the most infectious to you, that really got its hooks in you, like who it was?
The funny part was it's because of my mom, and it's country music, specifically Brad Paisley.
No, really?
Specifically, my mom, I grew up listening to country music every day. That's what I grew up listening to. My mom was Shania Twain, Brad Paisley, Tim McGraw, like all of them. And like, so I used to listen to country from the age of 6 till like 12. But Brad Paisley was the first time I ever listened to music, like lyric wise. And I was like, this man writes beautifully.
Yeah.
He sings beautifully. He writes beautifully. And then my brother got into R&B, and then I got into R&B, and I got into rap. And then I started forming my own love in pop and all that stuff. And but in reality, the only reason why I love music is because of country music.
Yeah.
That's where I started. And then it kind of pulled that direction. From there on, that I started learning more people, and then.
Do you feel like you put any elements of that country into your music?
The storytelling.
Storytelling.
My music, I like writing my lyrics specifically on events or feelings, but I like to make it so like if someone closed their eyes and was listening to the lyrics, they could like imagine it themselves.
I like
without
that.
needing to really think. And that's why country music did it to me every single time I listened to it.
Yeah.
It was always a story, and I could always see it. I could envision it when they're talking about anything from like Brad Paisley has a song called Mud on the Tires. Let's go out into the country. Let's like just have fun. Let's just put mud on the tires. And that's like a visual thing.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. In my head. So that transitioned to all my music writing.
Yeah. Well, I got a birthday coming up at the end of this month, and I'm going to be 50 years old. And I've said on here before, though, man, that, you know, the best music to me, and it's probably why I go back and, you know, you listen to a lot of the staples from your life or whatever, because, you know, good music is almost like a time machine. It can take you back to, you remember like, oh, I remember this song. I remember being 15. I remember being out in the woods drinking with my friends. I remember this, you know, good music can really transport you to times and places, you know?
Yep.
I mean, I think that's part of the beauty and the magic of music.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like, and what I love about it is with that music, as musicians, we take that feeling of that song and try to emulate that in, like, let me explain what I'm feeling through this song. Right. And that's why I feel like that's why I love music so much. It's like nothing, in my opinion, nothing's ever original. It's just creative. Right. Because every song I wrote was inspired by something else that I heard. Right. And I was just my way of explaining what I felt when I heard it. And that's what made it original.
Well, speaking of creative, though, do you have a specific, you know, any kind of ritual or any kind of process that you do as part of your creative process? You know, room in the house, you go write, or do ideas just come to you, or you somebody that's to go and, like, you know, set a certain ambiance to write, or ideas just coming to you all the time?
The shower, literally. All of my ideas have come by showering. Like, it's literally, I'll just
that's where the inspiration hits, huh?
Literally every time. I'll be in the shower, because like what I like to do, and this is like a little cheesy for me, but what I love to do is when I'm in the shower, I pretend like I'm like in front of a crowd, and I'll like be singing, whatever. And halfway through doing something, I'll think of like a bass riff, or I'll think of like a lyric or a note. And then in the shower, I'm just playing in my head, like, oh, what does that sound like? Like, the song in my album, Because of You. Yeah. The bass riff was the first thing I ever wrote because I was in the shower. And I was like, I was just, I don't know what I was doing, but I remember I got to the point where I was just like, it'd be cool to have like a song that started with bass, and then I just started doing the bass riff in my mouth. Yeah. So I was like doing them, and as soon as I did that, I was like, oh, stop shower, jumped into the computer, jumped into the thing and did the bass, and then just started creating from there. And so like the shower, literally I've come up with most of my ideas. It's just been me showering. Like it's like this.
What you need to do, man, is you need to hit up some kind of an invention, man, some kind of like a thing for songwriters, like a dry erase board to write lyrics on while they're in the shower, man.
It's true.
You're something that can get wet in there. You know what I mean?
It's true. Well, most phones now are waterproof, so I normally have I have my like my phone, and I'll just if I think of anything, I'll hit like the recording, like the memos or
Yeah,
whatever, and I'll just start like I'll sing it in the recording just so I have it, and then
yeah.
I'll like come back to it, and then come back to it, and then that just keeps going from there. So I've really enjoyed
And now,
technology.
do you live by yourself?
No, I have kids, and I live my partner, and my kids, and we all just live together.
Oh, so y'all,
Yeah,
so they're used to hearing you singing shit in the
yeah,
shower.
yeah,
Then,
all
man.
the time,
Yeah,
all the time. Yeah,
that's commonplace then, right? Nobody even
yeah.
bats an eyelash.
No, 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 no. No one bets an eyelash. That's normal.
So,
Normal.
I'm curious to get your opinion on this. You know, you obviously release Levels. That's an EP.
Yeah.
Is there a right or wrong answer to this question in terms of, you know, your own mentality of how, you know, the way, the format that you want to release music? Because it's a very, it's a very polarizing topic now where some people are just putting out singles. Some people are going the EP route. Some people are still putting out long plays. Do you have an idea of where you want to go in terms of that?
I want to keep it to the original of how I listen to music, and it's more so when I saw people like, well, I grew up like R&B, everything. It was normally a single, an EP, or an album. It was like you got the full idea of getting the full project, because I like it. Like I understand the single thing that people are doing because it constantly keeps them ahead. But for me, I appreciate the artist that can drop an album and make me listen through a whole 30 minutes.
I know.
Of their tracks. And be like, you consistently kept me listening to a full 30 minutes of your track. Like, because like singles, you can have moments where people are nitpicking. Oh, I like this single, but like this is different to this. And this is different to this. Like an album to me is project. Like for example, The Weeknd is a really amazing artist to me. And he's been keeping it traditional, where he has a single, and then an album, and the album coincides with everything. Like for visuals, for everything, they all work together, and I love that. So that's where I'm releasing. I won't be doing like single. For me, it's single EP, single album kind of idea. And that's like the format I'm sticking with.
And what do you now? You play guitar, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Are there other instruments that you play?
I play guitar. I play a little bit of piano. I dabble in the drums, but I'm mostly a guitarist. And a vocalist, but I'm trying to, you try to learn as much as you can with everything. But like when I write, I normally just have my acoustic guitar, and then I just start like with that. That's where I'm comfortable with.
And then
with the guitar.
Are there some guys who play guitar, man, that like just, and again, I don't want to ask you the influence question, but who are some guys who like when you hear them play guitar, you're just blown away?
Oh, Gary Clark Jr. Blown away.
Amazing.
Blown away. Gary Clark Jr. is like one of my favorite guitarists.
Amazing.
Like John Mayer, of course, because John Mayer is just John Mayer. Like he's phenomenal. Leon Bridges as well. When Leon Bridges picks up a guitar and he starts going crazy, specifically because his melodies, when he plays his guitar and he comes up with the melodies, it's just a beautiful mixture that I love the most. But I would say my top guitarist by far is Gary Clark Jr. By far.
Yeah,
he's so good. Like
I agree with the Leon Bridges though, because a lot of times, like, you know, he's a perfect example of like less is more. He's not going to blow you away with virtuoso level playing, but the pieces that he puts together are just so poignant and beautiful.
And then when that's the thing, and that's why he's like one of my like ideal people. Like if I could ever collaborate with, I would drop everything to do. It's just he's so good, and he's talented in guitar, talented in lyrics, talented in vocals, talented in melodies and writing. Like he's just so good. And I like man, he's one of the influencers for sure.
And I also like that he's got that throwback look too. You feel like you're looking at like a lost member of the Temptations or something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he's got that cool throwback look.
Exactly.
You know?
Which makes him unique, right? Which makes him fully unique, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So, are there any artists out there other than him? And I don't even know how this works with the genre of music that you play, that you specifically play, because I know in the hip hop world, it's really big to get the collabs or the features. You know, people coming on your track. Is that one of those things where like you could approach a musician and say, "Geez, I'd love to have Gary Clark lay a guitar solo on a song for me," or is that something that's really not that done outside of the rap world?
So it's well in my genre, because I'm more of like that R&B pop world, so it's still good there, and in the rap world it's still there. Like I have a bunch of people that I'll be working with in the next project that's dropping a verse or something. Like even Levels, in the song Levels and Never Be Alone, I had a good guy, JW Jones. He's like a
Yep.
Juno nominated Canadian. He's like a jazz guitarist.
Yeah.
And he reached out and he was like, "Can I lay a guitar line on your tracks?" Right. And then so it does happen for sure. And I'd love that if he reached out and he was like, "I love this song, can I lay?" I would do it instantly. Like I would love that, because like music to me all has the same roots. It's the same blues jazz roots. No matter what genre it is, you still have a connection between all genres.
Right.
And so for me, it's like I don't have to limit myself nowadays specifically with just one style of music. I can experiment. We can have fun with it. So if someone like him came out was like, "Yeah, I would love to add whatever," and hands down, by all means. Like,
and now what's the scene like up there in Canada, man? Like, who are some bands in Canada that are like extremely huge? Like, who gets all the notoriety up in Canada?
Oh yeah, so in Canada, notoriety, like if you want to go pop stars, you have Shawn Mendes, you have Justin Bieber, you have Michael Bublé, you have Celine Dion. Look
at Canada, Canada, yo.
We got like the Arkells. You have Headley used to be massive. You still have like we have a lot of people growing in there. I know compared to the States, it's like not as many, but we like honestly big Canadian names are still touring. Like Elijah Woods is another kid that's up and coming right now. That won like a Canadian competition. He's growing.
And then y'all got legends up there too. You got Bryan Adams.
Yeah, Bryan Adams. Yeah, exactly. We have Bryan Adams.
And you got a couple of guys who are going to be coming on my show pretty soon that are kind of like, I like to bust their balls and say they're the Beatles of Canada, but they're probably not. But they don't play anywhere outside of Canada. But Glass Tiger.
I actually just recently heard a couple
love
songs about
those
that.
guys.
Yeah,
I love
it.
And I'll tell you what, man. I got a childhood friend of mine, man, and we sit around and we think we are the only two fucking guys that we've ever known of down here, at least in our circle of friends, that ever fucking seem to give a shit about Glass Tiger. But they had some great fucking I mean, there was no way you could go back in the 80s and not hear Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Couldn't do it.
Man. No, and well, that's the thing. And that's why, like, what I find like there's the one thing about the Canadian side of music, it's like we're very much shadowed behind the American side of music because there's so much more. And in reality, for Canadians, like if you want to become international, you have to leave Canada. Like Canada doesn't have the structure to really get you international. You have to go out of it, which is sad. But at the same time, it's like to be in Canada, you got to get to that top to be able to leave. That's kind of like the level is get to the top to be able to leave, to go to the States, to then be numbered in the Canadian stars. Unless Yakara is another Canadian artist that's going crazy. And like, so it's interesting. It's a fun world, but at least there's still in the community of musicians here in Canada, there's enough support that like you have a chance. Like you're like I can do this because the support is there. So that's nice.
Are you somebody who, as a fan, are you somebody that gets to go out and see it and see a lot of live music from a fan perspective?
I do sometimes, not as much as I would like to.
Right.
But I did. Like I was able to see Shawn Mendes live because I was able to get backstage passes because I know the so like Alessia Carr's guitarist, I met him and I helped record some of his music passes. So I was able to see Shawn Mendes live, which again, Shawn Mendes live is phenomenal. Alessia Cara live is phenomenal. Like it was just live, I was just blown away. And so like I was able to see them live. I was before the pandemic, I was supposed to go see Bruno Major. Which if you don't know who he is, amazing artist. And he was supposed to come in, and I'm hoping he tours again because I want to go see him again. But I do want to ramp up seeing more artists. But like again, in Canada, not a lot of artists that you really look up to come to Canada. If they do, they normally go to Toronto, Vancouver, or Montreal. And I live in Ottawa, so I'm like 4 hours from Toronto, 2 hours from Montreal, or like 3 days away from Vancouver. So unless I can take the time off to go to those locations, I don't really get to see them, right? So it's like hit or miss sometimes.
Well, not only that too. I mean, you know, it gets disheartening too. And you know, maybe I'm dating myself here by making a statement like this, but ticket prices sometimes really hold you back from being able to go see everything you want to go see.
It's very true. Like if I wasn't rich growing up, so in reality, like when big bands came in, like you could see a band every like 2 years, maybe 4 years, depending on if you had the money and depending on what it was. Like, so ticket prices, like the bigger the band, the more it is, right? And I get that. On top of that too, though, because of YouTube now and everything's basically recorded, it's like if you don't get to see them live, watching them in your living room is kind of like watching them live. Like it's the same kind of idea. Like I can still see them perform and I can still enjoy the music and hear it and all that stuff. So, but I do want to be numbered amongst the artists that tour. Where people want to come in and watch and it doesn't really matter how many people I'm playing to. I just love to do it. I love to play. So that would be a big thing.
So being a Canadian, man, does that mean that, man, you got to be into fucking hockey and all that shit too?
Yeah, no, I'm not in hockey. I was never into hockey.
No,
no, I grew up in high school. I played rugby. My brother was into basketball. My dad did bowling. Like we did, my whole family did everything you could think of, but we did not go into hockey.
You somehow managed to avoid. You somehow managed to avoid living in Canada and not become a hockey fan.
Not be a hockey fan. It's just I don't know. Hockey never really like pulled me in.
Hell no.
Yeah, my whole family right now, we're really big soccer fans, like football, like full-fledged. Like the FIFA was the big thing for us, and like we just love that world.
So what is the next plan now? Got Levels out. Are you going to be coming out with new music again here soon?
Yes. So in March, the first single called Outside drops in March.
Okay.
And that's going to be the first single to start like the process. So it's going to be a single in March called Outside. The second single will be called What Am I Supposed to Do? And that's going to be in April.
Okay.
And then the third single a week before the album will be Let's Run. And then a week after the third single, the album drops.
So that would be what? So that would take us to what month?
June.
Okay.
June. So in June, because I'm doing the same structure as what Silk Sonic did when they dropped their album with Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. Same kind of structure, same kind of idea. And then for shows wise, I just heard that I'm playing Canadian Music Week out in Toronto.
Okay.
Here in Canada, it's like the big networking thing. So it's cool because I get to meet a bunch of people from industry labels to managers to booking agents and try to get more
networking.
Exactly.
Networking in. Yeah.
And then I know Blues Fest, Jazz Fest comes here, big festival. So we're planning on hitting all the festivals and try to play as many festivals as we can this year. And then just kind of promote music more. And then towards the end of the year is when we're going to start looking at like tours across Canada, States, trying to see if we can get bigger tours, bigger out there, trying to get bigger stuff.
Yeah.
So that's going to be.
Is it an absolute nightmare nowadays for a young artist to get on a tour? Because I talk to a lot of musicians on here, and I hear a lot of stories, maybe more prevalent in the rock metal world or whatever, but, bands being asked to pay to get onto real quality tours, any of that kind of shit going on. I mean, how do you angle yourself to get on a good package?
It's true. The problem is those nowadays, because of how expensive tour can be versus not a lot of people go tour that much anymore. It's like, if you wanna like a dream come true for an artist like me is like if Bruno Mars was touring Canada and they needed an opener for 3 months.
Hell yeah.
And they wanted like us to tour. That's like a dream come true. But to get to that level, you have to like put in your work. You have to put in your paces. And like doing your own tour is kind of, if you've never done it before,
right?
It's kind of hard because you don't have the know-how and everything. And so the easiest way is to hop on someone else's tour, but then the deals could be different. Yeah, so it is hard. It definitely is hard. That's why I like these networking events like Canadian Music Week and things like that, because you can start talking to booking agents, all that stuff, and just be like, hey, do you have shows where people are coming by and you don't have openers? Like, we'll come in and do that there.
Yeah.
And we'll take like a percentage of like whatever the thing. Start doing it that way is what our mentality is right now as a band, and then build up the name so much that people are wanting you. Because as soon as people want you, that's when the terms are better.
So when you say band, so you have a full band as well?
A full band, yeah. So it's myself. Myself. I have a five-piece band. Myself as a singer. I have my bassist Mike Mercier, my guitarist Adam, drummer John, and then my keyboardist Omar. And then that's like the main five. And then we have like backing vocals that come in and out depending on the sets. Yeah. But like so that's our band as itself, going in and trying to push it.
And when you guys play live, if someone hasn't seen you live, how would you describe like what to expect if they were to come and see you?
Oh, definitely energetic. You're definitely, if you don't know me, you're going to be dancing by the end of the night for sure.
Nice.
We've definitely had that test multiple times where we've played in places where no one knows us and the whole place is dancing by the end of it. Like,
that's nice.
You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the music. You'll be surprised with the quality of the music versus the quality of the sound versus how fun it is. You won't know any of the lyrics, but you feel like you did. Yeah. Is what I know will happen. So like, it'll be a fun night for sure. You don't know me, but you'll want to by the end of it.
I'm sure you've had these nights, and it's not like it's not meant as a derogatory thing, because other artists that I've talked to who have had even pretty decent commercial success have had these kind of nights too. But have you how do you respond, and how do you get yourself up if you come out for those shows? And I'm sure as a young artist this has happened to you, where you come out to some bar or club and you want to be pumped up for the show, but maybe there's like 8-10 fucking people there.
Right. Yeah. So that's the funny part. It's like someone actually asked me a question a long time ago, because I was doing, when I first started music, I did solo stuff, and they were asking like, how do you engage a crowd if there's like 3 people, 4 people there, and it's you and a guitar? What I like about my shows the most is I strive on actually engaging the crowd, whether there's 2 people there.
Yeah.
The idea is, it's like, if the crowd, whoever the member of the crowd is involved in the music, you have fun together, and it doesn't matter how many people are there. So that's a lot of my sets and a lot of my music is like through stories, to making them laugh, to making them want to hear more, to making them want to dance. That allows them, because as long as one person's partying, you've changed someone's perspective of the night.
No doubt.
Right.
And those people paid. Those people
exactly.
paid.
Those people paid. They paid. And it doesn't matter if 2 people paid or 10 people paid, 10 million paid. Whoever paid deserves the right to have fun.
Sure.
At the set. And it shouldn't change the fact that you do the set. So for us, it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter how many. Like, yes, it'd be nice to play to more people all the time, but that's not the case. I've played to 2 people. I've played to just the bar. I've played to a bunch of people. And it's still the idea of doing the best performance, because every single time we perform, it's practice. Every time we perform, it's getting better and closer to the sound,
right,
to the point where we're hitting 20,000 people a night, and that's the whole goal to it, right? So it's opportunities.
So what was it like for you when we were all locked down and shit, going through COVID? Was that a period of time that was particularly fruitful for you? Did you have like an abundance of creativity to to kind of spew forth and come up with a lot of ideas? Or because I know a lot of artists I've talked to on here like really were hunkered down and they said, geez, I wrote a lot, or I came up with a lot of riffs, or I came up with a lot of what was it like for you?
I ramped up. It was as soon as the pandemic happened, I realized that, like, for example, like a month or 2 or 3 after that, most artists either stopped tours, stopped releasing music, and these are major artists, like the big artists, kind of went on vacation for 2 years. Like, it was just so. I realized that, like, if all of the names of the big world that I'm in are all taking a break, they're not going to be talking about anybody. Which means this is our time to shine. Like, it's if we don't release it, it's our time to step ahead.
Hell
specifically in Canada, because Canada talks about the States all the time, and everyone in the States kind of shut down. So it was like, how do you get ahead? So when the pandemic happened, that's when I released Levels. I released music. We started ramping out more. My band got better. We started playing more shows. We did a lot of virtual stuff as well. Like, I grew the name here as much as I could within the 2 years time, which now gave me enough ramp up that people now start knowing who I am. People start following. People are like, oh, I know who he is. I know who he is. I started meeting more people, and that I never stopped. COVID didn't stop me. COVID kind of sped me up, right? Because I knew there was that time of being in the limelight was going to end very quickly.
Right. So, nobody's out there doing anything, man. Time for me to get in the shower and start creating.
Exactly. That's literally the whole point. Because it's just like, because they're not doing anything. But then once they realize they need to, all of them are coming back at once, and that's what happened. Like, as soon as the pandemic started like going down, and like you had Silk Sonic drop an album, you had Anderson .Paak drop an album, you had everyone was just dropping. And all of the talk came back up. But the good thing for me is I kind of went up with them a little bit, because I was already in the name. Right. So I was very happy with that. I was like, I couldn't slow down. Like, it didn't make sense to slow down.
Are you somebody who looks at music with any kind of like, and I know you're still a relatively young guy, but are you somebody who's kind of put like a timetable on like, geez, if I'm not at a certain point in my career by this point in time, I'm packing it in? Or do you not put that kind of pressure on yourself?
Oh, no.
And you try to think about that?
I don't even let myself think about that, because all the artists I look up to didn't make it till like 40, like, or 30. Like, it's like if you put a time limit on yourself, I feel like that destroys your creativity.
Yeah.
Because you're limited to by the age of like 35, if I don't make it, I'm done. So you try to create the best music, which I feel like destroys your creativity because you're just trying to make
Right.
what would be a hit instead of
Right.
writing what's in your feelings, right? Like Bruno Mars didn't make it till he was 32.
Right.
Right. And like and since 32, he's only put out 3 albums and he's like massive. And like
Yeah.
like Anderson .Paak is like what in his 40s and now he's like really ever
Crazy. I know.
Yeah. It's like it's just if you put a time limit on, you can't put a time limit on creativity. It's impossible. Right? You're creative all the time. So why not just keep doing it until something happens?
And where do you stand? And where do you stand on, like, I take it like, you're not on a label, right?
No, I'm not on a label. Yeah, I'm not on a label.
Is that something you'd like to keep that way? Because I hear that a label really doesn't have, as far, there's still like aspects of promotion they can help you with, but it's not. It's not the meaningful thing that it was, back in the heyday of the music business. Do you want to stay like more of a do-it-yourself guy, or if you were approached by a label, is it something that you would consider?
I think if I was approached by elements of a label, I would, but not a label entirely. Like, for example, like his labels, for example, back in the day was label did your publishing, your promoting, your touring, everything like that.
Yeah.
But nowadays with the internet and everything, there are people who do one thing very good.
Right.
So there's one guy who can market really well, but then there's another guy who can book tours really well. You don't need a label. You could just find those people. Right. And so in reality, I would rather still be independent, but have people help me do that and build a team. So I will get a promoter, I will get a marketer, I have a distributor. AWOL Records distributes my music, which I'm very proud of. I'm very happy with. And then, but I don't need to be signed per se to get that. Like, I do understand the benefits of being signed because you get picked first. On a lot of stuff. If you go to festivals and you are signed to like AWOL or you're signed to Islander Records, like you get picked first because you were signed. But I don't think you need it anymore. Not in the days that we're in.
Yeah, I agree with that too. It's not the it's not the glamorous thing that it was back in the 80s and the 90s, where, like you said, like they just had all these different people doing everything for you, and you really just had to focus on just creating and performing.
Exactly. Well, no, the biggest thing that labels was able to do before was collaborations with different producers, different artists, different stuff. They were able to pull in the top producer from this place who did this song, and you could write with this person to the next. Like it was like only labels could do that back in the day. Yeah. Now you can find a way to reach Zed, which is just talk to him, and like, so I don't think you need that side of label things anymore.
Well, you made a good point earlier though about how people really don't sit down and really immerse themselves in the whole album experience from start to finish, where they kind of just pick songs that they like. Oh, I really like track 1 and 5, and that's what's going to make it onto my playlist. When you sit down to write, do you consciously think about like what's the mindset? Are you thinking of writing a great album, or are you thinking about like, geez, I hope some of these could potentially be hits? Like, what's the mindset of the young artist nowadays?
I don't have the mindset that I hope these are hits. I just hope that my songs become hits on their own. Right. My mindset is, does the song match the one before it and the one after it? Right. And does it feel like the experience? Like, for example, Levels, the best way I can explain it is like Levels, for example, has 7 songs in it. And every song was put in a specific order for that reason. Because the whole idea of the album Levels is like different levels of a relationship. From really good to really bad. So I didn't think any song was going to be a hit. I was just saying the first song is going to be the beginning, or Never Be Alone, because Never Be Alone was I love you and you're never going to leave me. But then the next song has to be Things Are Starting to Go Wrong. So that was the beginning. Then the next song, and it was just kind of written like that. So every time I do an album, so my next album is the same exact idea. It's my next album is called Wishful Thinking. So the whole idea is every song that I have is like thoughts, mental things, anything that I ever had that I wanted to portray just wishfully, without any hold bars, nothing at all. This is just how I feel. I am thinking wishfully. I am thinking freely. I am thinking everything. So every song has to be that fit that criteria.
In a lot of ways, these are conceptual albums then.
Exactly. Exactly. So like I like the idea of having concepts. They're all concept albums, and I will always write concept albums. Just they're very like I can see them. The hope is that I did a good job and everybody else can see that too. That's the whole point of it.
So on levels, man, like when do we start talking about the relationship when it goes completely fucking south and starts to suck? Do we got a song for that, or we don't even want to go there?
That was because of you. So that was because of you was the because I remember I was writing it, and that the whole idea of the song because of you was like everything is wrong because of you. I lied because of you. I left because of you. I did this. It's like you go because that's where I feel like most relationships I've seen go from like I love you to when it really ends. Everyone has a reason to blame the other person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. You don't know any of the story. You don't like you as a person will hear the story and be like, wow, that guy's a dick, or that girl's a dick, or this person's a dick. But like, so the whole song because of you was like, even if it was my fault, it's because of you I did what I did. It's because of you I did that, right? And so my friend Jemima, she featured in the song, and she wrote the female side of everything, and she wrote a beautiful lines, beautiful stuff, beautiful melodies, helped push that song even more. And again, it was like that female side, and that's what I really wanted. I wanted the guy side of this is your fault, and her coming back like, no, it's not my fault. I did everything I could.
Well, we know who win. Well, we definitely know who wins that fucking battle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, every time.
It ain't ever us.
Yeah, no. We try,
we try, man. But I mean, we usually come up really, really short, though, man. I mean, that's not our. So after the next album comes out in June,
yes.
How do we make ALMYR Jules world domination happen?
So the plan right now, and it's the hope of everyone is when the album comes out in June, because the whole summer it's gonna be the whole album. 90% of it will be dancing, partying, and fun. Like it's gonna be wishful thinking, but like in the most epic way possible.
Nice.
And all I want to see, it just to help boost the thing, is people dancing. Like TikTok's crazy right now. Dance videos of every single song, blasting the song, promoting it, putting it on your pages, being like, listen to the song, like dance to it, make people bounce to it, because that's the whole part of the thing is I want people dancing.
It'll go viral. All of a sudden, people will be on TikTok saying, "Yo, I'm doing the ALMYR Jules."
Yeah, dance, exactly. That's the whole idea. And so like and that's the thing. And it's not like I'm not designing it so that TikTok becomes viral, but I want a summer of dancing.
Yeah.
Right. Like the whole album. I think if I would say the whole idea of the full album's feel was I wanted stadium music.
Yeah.
So I want to make it feel like if you're on a concert, this album feels like you're watching a concert, feels like you're listening to a full-fledged concert.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of it, to make people dance, party, have fun.
Yeah. So, I like that. That. Is there going to be a couple on there that I can vibe to, man, when I'm smoked out?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Uptown Groove.
I need that.
Yeah, Uptown Groove is a very chill, like it's a very nice lick guitarist, the guitar in it, and it's just a very 4 to the floor, like super chill beat.
I like that.
Yeah. You'll definitely enjoy that song. You'll enjoy a lot of them. If you enjoyed Levels, like this is the next step.
And so we're not going to get to the point where if the music career doesn't take off, you're not going to do anything crazy like go over Niagara Falls in a barrel or nothing, are you?
No.
Don't do that.
I don't even think I have the balls to do that anyways.
You went down a whole rabbit hole one day on YouTube, man, of watching a whole documentary about all the people that did it. And I think it was like 18 or 19 people, and most of them fucking died.
Yeah, no. I
that ain't a good look.
I know. I have stayed away from doing things that might kill me. It's just my entire life. I rather feet to the floor, do things that will make me happy.
As a Canadian, though, man, it's like your rite of passage. How many times you got to go see them fucking falls in your life?
Oh my gosh, the falls! I still haven't seen them.
Come on, really?
I was born in Montreal. And then my family moved to the southern of Ontario.
That's kind of
in Windsor.
Ontario's close to the falls, though, right?
Yeah, no, it is. But I was in Windsor. That was like an hour away from Detroit's border.
Yeah.
So like we were like from the falls. Windsor is like from Windsor to the falls. It's like 15 hours away.
Yeah.
Right. And then we moved to Alberta, which is across the country. So I was never actually close enough to see the falls ever. I am closer now. I'm actually going to go see the falls at the end of this month. That was the whole idea.
Well, the American side's a mess.
Yeah,
it is. All them rocks at the bottom of it. You can never put that in a barrel. You can't do that.
Hilarious. That's hilarious.
It is. It's the horseshoe ones on the Canadian side are beautiful. I mean, just like everything, the Americans have fucked it up, and the Canadians have kept their side.
They're making it beautiful. Yes.
The Canadians have made their side of the street real clean. Yep.
That's hilarious.
But listen, man, I mean, it's really been an honor and a blast talking to you. I hope we can stay in touch and we can do this again when the new album comes out.
Yes, please. No, I honestly, as soon as you'll be seeing ads, you'll be seeing promo. I'll be promoting it everywhere. And definitely when I'm here, I want to jump back on this when you hear the first single.
Absolutely.
In March. I'm curious to hear what people think about it. And then, but then June's going to be the big time. The big push. So I'm super stoked.
I'm glad for you, man. All right. So tell me before we close here, man, best piece of advice that you could give or that you've been given. And it doesn't even got to be about music, dude. I've been trying to put together a compilation where I've been ending my interviews with people just kind of throwing out a piece of advice.
Piece of advice?
Yeah.
Honestly, the piece of advice I've ever gotten was do you without anyone changing that. Just be you. It is in anything, in work, in music. Just do what you like, no matter what people say. Because I've found that people will tell you this is not good, and then you put it out and it's amazing and it's well received. It's just you can't learn without doing what you like to do.
Absolutely.
Right. You're just copying at that point. You're copying everybody else. If you want to learn and grow and get better at something, you just got to do you. It's just how that works.
And if you want to write great songs, the fucking shower, baby.
Jump in the shower. Everybody,
everyone
jump in the shower. You do not write music unless you're in the shower.
Even if you got to take 5 or 6 of them a day, man. If you want to get out, man.
Exactly. You got to stick in the shower. That's the
you better make sure that you're lotioning though, man. That the hot water will dry you out, man.
Oh no, I know. I'm already dark skinned. I have to be lotioned 24/7.
I mean, if you stay in that shower too long, you're gonna have them prune fingers if you stay in there right too many.
Dude, sometimes I forget time goes by.
Yeah, I know.
You're still into it, you're just gone. So.
Well, listen, man, this was a real blast and an honor talking to you, man. I really appreciate it, dude.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
Man.
Thank you so much for having me.
And let's definitely stay in touch, man. And we'll definitely do this again, man.
Done deal. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it, brother. All right. Talk to you soon, man. Later.
Goodbye.
That's my man, ALMYR Jules. Let me spell it for you. ALMYR. ALMYR Jules. JULES. He's a singer-songwriter from Canada. If you like Leon Bridges, if you like Bruno Mars, if you like Gary Clark Jr., some of the guys that he mentioned there, man, pop, rock, elements of R&B, you're going to like that young man, man. He's doing big things, man. ALMYR Jules up our neighbors to the north, giving us some good music, man, up in Canada, man. Go check out his EP that he just put out this year called Levels. And again, that's ALMYR Jules. Go do that young man a solid, man. Go check out his shit, man. He's on all the musical platforms, man. Give him a like. Go show him some love. You heard him. He's going to be dropping a new album in June. Going to be looking forward to that, man. And his music is good, man. His music is good. And I think the people out there, man, are going to love it, man. You might have just seen the next Bruno Mars, the next Leon Bridges, the next Gary Clark Jr., the next Shawn Mendes, the next Charlie Puth. Who knows, man? That kid's on his way, man. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Pod Scum. And remember, y'all, Keith, did you like that kid? He's not bad, right? He even said he's got some tunes on there, man, that we can get fucked up to. That's music to my ears. And remember, man, you want to write hit songs, man. He told you, man, hop in the shower, man. Get yourself lathered up, and the hits will come forth. So until next time, man, remember out there, y'all, take it easy and keep it sleazy.